back. You're watching Power Lunch here on NDTV Profit. We have now started the earnings season, and IndusInd Bank has already come out with its earnings. What really was surprising that their asset quality remained stable. But remember, the kind of asset quality pressure that we saw in many of the banks in the third quarter, many are expecting that to continue in the fourth quarter as well. We earlier spoke to Mr. P. Rudran, Managing Director and CEO at Arcel, which is an asset reconstruction company, and we tried to get a sense of how has been the NPA or the bad loan situation in the fourth quarter, and if many of the sales were made to asset reconstruction companies, because remember, fourth quarter is the one where we see maximum sales coming in from the banking side. And when we asked him about the situation in the fourth quarter, then this is what he had to say.
See, the fourth quarter banks have come with a lot of NPAs for sale, but sadly, the sales have not taken place. Deal conclusion has been very poor. In fact, I would say that for the entire year, but for the first quarter, the rest of the quarters, the performance or the deal conclusion has been very poor. In fact, compared to last year, although more than 90,000 crores of assets have been put on sale, as NPAs have been put on sale, the conclusion has been on an average of 26%. That means there has not been much sale. I don't know the last final quarter, exact quarter amount. I don't have it readily with me, but it has been it was more than the second and third quarter. But deal conclusion would have been almost about some 23% or something.
All right, so more than 90,000 crore worth of NPAs on sale. You're saying situation was better than second and the third quarter, but comparing to fourth quarter of last financial year, how was the situation?
No, last year, the last quarter was much better. Because that is the first year, FY14 is the first year where a lot of incentives have been given to banks for selling the assets to ARCs, and the regulatory intervention with reference to the mandatory investment by the ARCs from 5% to 15%, that came sometime in August. So in the previous year, last quarter, it was not there, and a lot of sales have taken place in last quarter of previous year. And in fact, most of the sales used to happen in the last quarter of the year. Only this year, I can only tell in percentage terms, whereas in the first quarter of the current year, FY15, the first quarter, it saw a sale of almost about 45% of the assets offered were sold, whereas in the second and third quarter, in terms of percentage, it was almost about 12% only sales has taken place. Whereas in the last quarter, that is the fourth quarter, this was almost about 23%. I am talking this on the basis of the estimated information available with me. This is not a very authenticated information, because this information is not readily available in an authenticated manner from the banks or the IRCs. But according to the estimates that we have done, we find this is the position, and on an average, only 26% of the assets which were offered for sale, the deal has been concluded.
Can you tell us what is the quantum of bad loans acquired in FY15?
No, I cannot give you the exact figure because our accounts are yet to be finalized and it has to go to the board. But I can tell you it is much less than what we had estimated. We had estimated originally 5,000 crores of acquisition, then we revised the estimate also, but even I think last revision has been achieved, but that is much less than, maybe around 50% of our estimation only we could. Exact figure I am unable to give you at this point of time, because I have little compulsions.
But what's the outlook for this financial year that we've started? Are you working with any target for FY16?
Not yet. Its exercise is going on. But we are optimistic. I think in this year, the FY15 has seen a bad patch. This will bring new changes in the minds of the selling banks, and I hope that FY16 will be a better year. One thing is, as far as the availability of NPAs is concerned, that's there. NPA is on the increase only. So many restructured accounts also have become NPA. So NPA increase is the stock is there. The stock has to be disposed of. I hope that optimistically, I hope that in FY16 things would take a better shape.
But what are the key issues which are, which are there when it comes to acquisition of these bad assets?
The major and most important issue is the valuation of the assets. See, like when it was 595, ARCs were required to invest only 5% of the value, whereas it has been increased to 3 times, that is 15%. Yeah, so let us say if it is 595 and the assets were being sold at 45% of the principal amount, let us say about almost about 50% discount is being given. So same valuation cannot hold in when it is 1585. The value has to come down, because more investment is being done by the IRCs, and to which they have to get some good returns. After all, whose money somebody has invested in IRCs, also we have to give in returns to the investors. So if we are not able to do that, then it doesn't become a practical sale, because after all, ultimately we give a high value. Maybe that the sellers will may be able to book the profit at the front end, but later on you will find that the security receipts are not being redeemed, as a result of which you have to take a hit at a later stage. So this is a major issue. Other issues are very are related to resolution, not related to acquisition. With reference to acquisition, the major issue is only a stabilization in the valuation is required. There has to be a realistic valuation of the assets, in which case there will not be any problem in ARCs taking up more and more NPAs.
But will banks be willing to listen and lower the valuation?
Yeah, we have seen some of the banks, which have issued which have offered the assets at a higher value. On a second time, they have reduced it, and they found reason, and that has been sold. So the whatever sale has taken place, almost about 12,000 crores, I think, according to my estimate, around 12,000 crores of NPAs have been sold in FY15, which has come on this basis only, not on very high valuations. There has been an understanding, and there has been a relook at the valuations by the seller banks, and they have reduced and sold. So this experiment can go in FY16 in a better way.
Sir, can you also tell us which sectors actually had the most number of NPAs which were offered for acquisition to a company like yours?
Quantum wise, I am unable to say, but I can tell you that infrastructure has been one of the major areas which have been hit in terms of NPAs. But after that, iron and steel was there, hospitality sector, then textiles, engineering. These are the major areas where there has been major NPAs.
Alright, so that was Mr. Rudran of RCIL giving us a sense of what's really happening as far as the bad loan situation in the country is concerned. So infrastructure clearly sector is one of the sector where we are seeing the number of bad loans increasing, and that was the case in FY15 as well. We are slipping into a very short break at this point in time. Don't go anywhere. We'll bring you the management of Mindtree.